last-minute edit of all the chefs. Recipes, all of the chefs that have appeared. So Adam is our 8th chef over the 2 days. We've got 4 more tomorrow. So if you go on to thestaffcanteen.com/recipes, you'll find all of the recipes that the chefs have supplied. You can either search them by name. So if you search Adam Reid, go into his profile, you'll find the recipe. Or you can search it by title. So if you search Golden Empire, you'll find his recipe there. If you've got a smartphone, you can download our app. There is some flyers, I think, on your seats. Our app, Chef Plus, which I think the last time we looked had done about 35,000 downloads. It's free. You get it from the App Store, get it from Android. Search The Staff Canteen on either of the app stores, and you'll find us there. You can download the app. You can find all the recipes there as well. Okay, so Adam's just getting his sugar nice and soft and nice and workable. And try not to burn his fingers. So we'll talk to Adam about that in a minute. You all set, Chef?
Yeah, good. Do you want me to get a mic?
Yeah, if you go to that man there who's waiting for you, look. Do you want to be mic'd? No? Sure? Okay. Okay. Okay, so come on in. There's a couple of seats here. Or one seat here. Come on in. If you want to grab a seat, grab a seat. If not, come in a little bit closer. Try and come in a little bit so you can see what's going on. We will be asking, if there's questions you want to ask, put your hand up in the air during the show. Put your hand up in the air. We'll come out with the microphone. You can ask Adam the question directly. There'll also be a Q&A session at the end. So Adam will be around to answer some questions. We'll whisk him away over here to do some social media work. Get him to hold one of our Staff Canteen mugs and say nice things about us. Once we've done that, he'll stay around for signing of autographs, photos with him. Okay, just while we're counting the clock down, Lucy's got a scanner in her hand. Has anyone not been scanned yet? Your name badges, if you don't have to be scanned, but if you let us scan you, we will enter you into a competition. You can win this book, Purest by Yoni Bohr. Anyone know Yoni Bohr? No? Now your chance to win his book. So it's an amazing book. Yoni is a 3-star chef in the Netherlands. One of only about 8 or 9 3-star restaurants in the Netherlands. So that's his book. I've done this joke all day, but it's making me laugh. The book's in Dutch. Anyone read Dutch? No? Don't worry, the pictures are in English, okay? I'm here all week. Try the veal. My mother-in-law. Okay, so we're about a minute away from Adam coming on stage. As I say, please tweet us. Like us on Facebook. There'll be a live stream on there. Like it on there. Leave a comment for us. Tell your friends. Put a poster on Instagram. Tag us in. Add us on Snapchat. Lots and lots of ways to interact with us. Hopefully we'll get some samples into the audience for you. We certainly won't be sending you out hot sugar, but hopefully we'll be sending some stuff into the audience for you. I should very shortly be getting a man. They just told me it's 30 seconds. So, what we'll do is we'll count it down and then we'll bring Adam on stage. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last chef of the day here at Staff Canteen Live. Before you put your hands together for Adam, I want you to do one thing. All the team from UCB College, come on stage, please. Come on up on stage. Come on, where's Ian? Come on up, Ian. Okay, so 2 seconds, Adam. Ladies and gentlemen, along with the amazing set of sponsors, it's really, really important what these guys do, okay? These are the ones that are doing the real hard work. So they've had 8 chefs come in so far with a box of stuff. They've been sorting out all of their ingredients, make sure the chefs have got everything. They've been doing the mise en place from out the back. Ian has the most difficult job in the world. He has 8 chefs saying to him, I need this, I haven't got this, get me this, get me this. So Ian's been unbelievably helpful in sorting out his logistics. So while you're all here and before we welcome Adam on stage, can you please put your hands together from the team from UCB College? Okay, and whilst you guys are still here and you've got your hands warmed up from clapping, Adam Reid from the French, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, Adam, welcome, chef.
Welcome.
Good to see you again. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. So talk us through what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you chose to do a blown sugar dish on a live stage.
I did the same reason I chose to do it on TV. I must be a little bit mental.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I decided to do this. This is the kind of, I suppose, what I'm known for at this this period in time. But it's the easiest thing to come on and you kind of the approach that we're taking at the French. A little bit more on the technical side of things, keeping it simple when it gets presented on the plate, but with that wow factor of something like blown sugar. Might just to crack on then, yeah?
Yeah, go for it,
Good.
chef. Yeah, sorry,
It's just like GBN this all over again. You've got 30 minutes to smash out something amazing. So as you can see, you've got the first element, which is your your sugar, which you will blow in a minute. It's coloured with gold powder. It's just a standard kind of like 3-2-1 isomalt glucose fondant mix. You just got to get it to about 160. Bang in the gold powder, a little bit of citric acid just to cut through it, and bring it all together. You let that set, and then we pop it under the lamps. I was just getting it going in the oven a minute ago. Doesn't matter. You just got to get some heat into it and get it pliable and soft. So hopefully in about 15 minutes that'll be ready to go. There's a couple more elements. Basically, filling the apple is a hazelnut crumble, a meadow sweet custard, and a baked apple compote. So we'll get cracking. Basically, I'm not going to be able to show you the whole process because of time constraints, but I'll show you quickly as we go through. The first thing is the crumble. So we start off with some oats, jumbo oats. They're nice, give it a little bit of texture. If you think about everything that's in a crumble, some people put oats in, some people just keep it nice, bread and flour. You know, you can have anything in there basically. We basically put everything in just to round off every corner that we can. So your oats go on. We start off with a little bit of bread. Just plain white bread. I haven't made this myself or anything like that. It's just plain white.
If that iPad's in the way, just move it, chef.
Yeah, I'll just break it. Okay, so like I say, we're doing this crumble to kind of fit every base that we possibly can for a nice crumble. So you've
Adam, is it possible in 1 minute to give us what the brief was for Great British Menu?
Yeah, it was the Queen's 90th birthday, and the banquet was to celebrate her Great Britons. So the banquet was a load of people who have MBEs, OBEs, CBEs, basically the British Order of the British Empire medal. And our brief was to fit some kind of, make a dish or a menu around what those people would maybe relate to, or what is classic British food, but elevated to the next level. So I took that as meaning let's do some nice dishes that kind of everyday Great Britons would relate to, but let's elevate them and make them special. And as such, I filled sugar apple with some apple crumble.
And so that's where the Golden Empire name came from?
Well, the Golden Empire is another stage, so obviously I didn't want to do anything too specific to a certain member of the public or somebody who has a medal, so I just wanted to encapsulate everything. And my idea was that the Queen has been instrumental through her 90 years in turning what was the British Empire into the Commonwealth. So if you have a play on words there, you can say, well, it's gone from being the British Empire to maybe the Golden Empire nowadays. And as such, I did an apple crumble which incorporated Empire apples, and I made the apple golden. It's really long and really boring, so I can tell that by everybody's faces now. But it worked nonetheless, and I think because it was so non-specific, it actually worked a lot better than picking one person to celebrate a dish around. So your bread and your oats just go straight into the oven, and we're basically just drying them out and toasting them off. You got the sugar for the just plain sugar? Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, there you go. Okay, the second part of the crumble is caster sugar and glucose. I don't know how quick this thing's going to be, so.
Yeah, if you're on full, they're pretty quick.
That'll do. So you can see caster sugar and glucose. We're going to make a really quick praline. And while that's melting, we're going to do some apples. There we go. Right, Kerry is my little helper. I brought Andrea from the restaurant as well. But that's a bit boring because he knows what he's doing. So we'll get Kerry on it. So basically, the crux of the dish, and the main part of the dish, I spent more time creating the recipe than I did actually practicing the blown sugar. The main part of the dish is the apples. I'm only on Braeburn here. I haven't got the actual Empire apples, but kind of a red semi-sweet apple is perfect for it. So basically, young man, you're going to take 2 apples. You see the sugar going? You're going to take 2 apples and you're going to core 2 of them. We're going to replace the core with some cinnamon sticks. Some nice little cinnamon sticks. Straight in the middle. Then you're going to wrap them in foil and pop them in the oven. That's where you get the flavour of the baked apple. When you've done that, I'd like you to take the next 2 apples, peel them and do a beautiful little dice. Very nice little brunoise. And then the next 2 apples, I'd like to peel them and do a very rough dice. Okay? And keep them separate.
Adam will give you a job at the end of this.
Yeah, you will if you make me look any better. So you've got your praline. You're moving on your praline. You're real simple, sure. It's not an issue if it crystallizes. I'm not saying that just because I have ruined it. Basically, you're just getting a little bit of sweetness in. You want a little bit of the bitterness from the caramel, but then also, you know, that little bit of crystallization does give it a little crunch.
Can you just tilt that forward, chef? So that's it. Lovely.
You see that? So when it is really going to a nice golden caramel.
So when you're on GBM, how long to do your 3 dishes or 4 dishes?
About this much time, to be honest.
Per dish?
No, you had basically you get an hour. I think it works out an hour and a quarter, but 15 minutes of that is obviously plating up.
Yeah.
But you also have to stop what you're doing every now and again for 10 minutes, 15 minutes to have, you know, talking time so they can get something for the camera. So you stood there literally doing what Kerry's doing, not allowed to move your station, just having a little bit of banter with the other guys. So time constraints were a big thing. But you're also not allowed to pre-prepare, well, anything really. So other than maybe having the sugar to this stage, so I could have it under my lamps ready to blow, you know that was your lot really. You separate them up. Let's get those. Sorry, I'm making lots of funny noises here. I'm just going to turn out the hazelnuts, and I mean it's really simple. It's, you know, you're not doing anything at this stage too drastical in technique. When that's cool, all you'll do.
Stick it on there, chef.
Where's that?
Yeah.
All you'll do is chop up the praline, and we'll mix it through the 2. So you see you've got a nice little dice. The bread's going to give you a nice little bit of light texture to the crumble. The hazelnut's going to give you the nice nutty richness along with the sweetness. And the oats just give you that kind of earthy flavour that you're looking for. So we'll leave that to the side just to cool down.
That young man's motoring. He's got the apples in the oven already. He's flying, huh?
He's smashing it.
Hey?
Good. He can have a job. Okay.
So, Adam, how's life in Manchester?
It's good. It's good. We're just setting up for the refurb now. Obviously, you know, we're changing hands and taking over the management of it. So the French is going to be kind of like almost rebranded and relaunched under my name in about 3 weeks' time. And so I'm a little bit busy at the moment trying to do refurb and new menus and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really exciting times.
Exciting times, yeah.
Cool. So on to the next part of the crumble. Is we're going to start off with a couple of eggs. We've got some. Put that away. Got some icing sugar and some corn flour here somewhere. There you go. It's this one right in front of me. So icing sugar and corn flour, and this is basically going to bind the bread, the oats, and all the hazelnut praline. And when we bake that, just a little whisk. So you can see, you just make a little paste.
So Adam, you're obviously very, very busy anyway at the French. How did you find the time to practice this?
Well, as I say, I didn't really. I spent a lot of time coming up with the recipe for the crumble, etc. But then, kind of with the blown sugar, I've done a bit of sugar work and pastry work in the past, so I kind of know what I'm doing. And it's more a case of just having the concept of the dish in your head and being able to just get stuck in and go for it, really. Got some butter, which I've just melted before we started. And I'm going to pour that into the corn flour, icing sugar and egg mix. And just give it a little mix up so it goes to a paste. Don't know if you can see that little consistency. So you're basically making, I suppose, a little tuile mix almost. Standard tuile. And then into that, we bang all the other bits.
I take that off because it's induction.
Yeah, go for it. Right? Yeah. Sorry, you don't mind a bit of burning, do you? So I'm going to pop there. That's where I'm going to start with this, because obviously I need to chop up all the hazelnuts, etc., etc. But that goes in there, and then you basically spread it on the tray and bake it off. And when it's finished, it turns into almost like a biscuit with lots of bits in it. So as you can see here, it's mixed up. I don't know if you've got a camera there. Have you?
Yeah, well, you're on the. If you
there
look
you
just to your left,
you
look, chef, you can see what they're seeing.
So you've got what is like little clusters almost, so like your granola-y kind of thing. But what you get is that lovely flavour of a crumble. Do you want to just take that? We'll do some little tasters up in a minute to pass around. You should
did read the brief.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I got told in a minute ago, but down there. So basically what you should end up with is lots of crunchy bits in there from the stuff you've put through the oven, and then you put it into the tuile mix, and then when you've baked it, you end up with this little fluffy, chewy texture around everything. So that's, it's the start of this baked apple crumble thing, because it's also, when you cut into the apple, it's supposed to represent what you'd have if you pulled an apple crumble out of the oven. You have this lovely, crunchy but chewy and sticky topping with your lovely baked apple underneath. Cool.
So just remind us, who was judging you?
Well, the chef judge was Phil Howard, who was he's a great guy, actually, really, really good. Brilliant, amazing chef, really nice guy. Only gave me a 9 from an apple, though, so I just went off him after that, to be honest with you.
Hello, Phil, if you're watching.
Hello, Phil, sorry. There you go.
You know, Daniel Clifford was watching yesterday when Mark was
he'll have been
on.
watching Mark, won't he?
Yeah.
That's good. I tell you what, though, I will just mention, like, the other guys that especially that I ended up doing the banquet with, but all the guys from the finals, it was so much fun because the guys were, we all got on so well. It was kind of like we were all quite similar people and quite similar chefs in a certain way. So it was so much fun to actually work with them guys. And Mark Abbott was one of them.
Sorry, Adam, just remind the audience what we've got coming round for them, please.
Actually, a little bit of hazelnut crumble. So I'll send little tasters round as we go for each stage of it. You'll be able to taste it all. And then obviously we'll do the dish up at the end. So as Kerry is going, he's put the apples in the oven to bake. It's a 3-stage compote. So you're baking the apples. They're going to go to a real pectin-y, kind of like pectin-y baked apple texture and flavour.
Oh, chef, just let me stop it. Right, listen, sorry, this contains nuts. Okay, if you have an allergy, don't eat it. Okay? Sorry, chef.
Allergy advice. No, it's right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Don't eat it, please.
So Kerry's dicing up. He's doing a tiny little brunoise, which is going to. Sorry, have you got all the separate bits?
He's making a great job of that. Is Adam here from UCB?
All the separate bits, the dice.
You're one of the star pupils there. You're making a great job of that.
He's a good lad. Yeah. Well, this is going in the mix. So he's doing a beautiful little brunoise there. And what we're going to do, we can't do it here because we haven't got a vat packer, but we bake one lot of apples. We do a little brunoise, and then we'd normally juice the trim from that, and then poach the apple in their own juice, only at about 65 degrees in a water bath. So you're not actually poaching it and making it soft. You're just taking the raw edge off it, but it stays with a real bite, and it doesn't oxidize. That'll then get mixed through the baked apple compote. And then the other apples that he's doing, which are a rough dice, are going to go with some vanilla beans, or vanilla seeds into another bag, and we cook them at 85/90 in the water bath, so that it really compots down. And those three things, when you mix them together, end up as this lovely little combination there. If you can see that. Swatch camera. I'll leave it there. I'll send some of this round as well. If you notice, there's actually no sugar in the compote whatsoever. It's kind of the sweetness from the apples. That's why you don't use a baking apple or anything like that. You're using a lovely, lovely semi-sweet apple. And then that kind of offsets all this sugar that you're putting around the outside of it. Because a lot of people said to me, well, is it not going to be a bit sweet? Like, well, no, it's not actually, because we're going to offset it with the fact that we don't put any sugar in the compote.
How was the samples we sent out? Good?
Nice. Yeah? Good. The third stage is a custard, which is really basically a custard. You know, lots of eggs in there. It's flavoured with meadow sweet and a little bit of honey. That's in a little siphon gun. I'm not going to demo that because I hope everybody knows how to make a custard. There's no secret ingredient to it, nothing. It's a real simple custard. Basically, you use the eggs to set it, and then we put it in the siphon gun, so that when we fill the apple in a minute, you'll be able to see that it doesn't actually make the sugar go soggy or change the consistency of it, which is the most important thing. It's a little shield for the sugar against everything else, but then still recreates that kind of custard effect that you'd expect to have with a nice apple crumble.
How much brim wise do you need, Chef?
That'll probably do. There you go. We're just testing his knife skills. Have you done the rough stuff yet as well? Okay. And it's important to say, like, the bits, so the apples we put in the oven are with cinnamon in the middle. You know, apple and cinnamon, it's a great flavour. And then we put a bit of vanilla in there as well. Apple and vanilla. You know, all these things all go with a nice crumble effect, you know, flavour that you want. And they all add to the grand scheme of things, which is the end product, without actually knowing that they're in there. Right. I'm going to have a little go, the moment you've probably all been waiting for, to watch me go down on some blown sugar. So basically, just making sure it's soft enough. So you got your golden sugar. I've taken it to, you can see, I mean, it's not too hot to touch, but it is hot enough to be pliable. I've got my sugar pump, which is a double pump. So it's got a little one here just to help inflate it when you need to. And what I've done is, I don't know if you can see on the screen, I've got a little collar around it. So I've just heated up the pipe and I put a little bit of soft sugar around it. That's called your collar. And that's going to help this next stage. It's going to help the sugar stick to the actual apple. It's a little bit hard, this, so if they start popping on me, please don't laugh.
You get your excuses in early, Chef.
I am. Get it in there. Right, so the first thing you do is you make a little, you make it into like a little hollow bubble with a nice little collar on the bottom of that. So it's a little bit hollow in the middle. You got a lump of sugar on the end. I reckon it's going to be a bit hard to start with. I might have to pop it back in the oven. Okay, and then you use your collar that is on your pipe to stick that to, and make it airtight. I say make it airtight.
So you said you'd done some of this in the past during.
Yeah, I mean, I've. It's like anything with pastry, you know. It's. You know, a lot of people shy away from it, but I've always tried to get involved as much as I can. It's something I really enjoy, doing the pastry work. I think the one thing I don't like doing is actually working on the pastry section in the kitchen. They're two different things, you know, baking and cooking, you know, doing all these things, and then actually getting into a kitchen and doing it in a professional service are two different things. So I kind of have always tried to get involved as much as I possibly can, but without actually getting specifically designated a pastry chef. So a little bit of chocolate work, pastry, sugar work, etc. It's all like a little passion of mine, really. If I can just get this to stick on. Okay, so when you've got a nice seal, basically just start pumping. You see how little I'm pumping it, and then it starts going.
All the cameras are coming out. No pressure.
I can see that now. Yeah, I'm sweating a little bit actually. It's been a while since I've actually done these. I have minions to do this now. Okay, this one might blow up, so I reckon it's gone a little bit hard. So basically, I'm just trying to force some air into it to get the sugar moving. And once you get that initial bit of air in, it'll start going. When I say going, what? I mean like that. That was a bit quick. But you can see it's just starting to enlarge. And what it is, it's getting the bubble first, you know. That's the most important part. And you can see me just pushing it up over the pipe, which will be really important in a minute. So if I can just get a bit of size into that. This might be a little bit of a misshapen one.
So, how many did you cook for? On the banquet, I should have said. Sorry.
I think. Do you know what? I honestly can't remember exactly. I think it was about 60. So it was a smallish banquet.
And when was the banquet?
It was in February.
So you started this in like September?
I filmed my region.
To make the 60?
I filmed my region in the November. Basically, it's all about the temperature of the sugar. So I've got kind of a little.
But seriously, how long did it take to do 60?
Well, I didn't do 60. I did 120 because
Okay.
I wanted to make
covered
sure that
yourself,
that I had enough. Right, ignore this little lump on the end. But basically, that's what you're aiming for.
Fantastic.
It's just a little bubble.
That deserves a round of applause, doesn't it? Live on stage.
I don't know. It's a bit shoddy, like. Let's have a go at another one. I'll be nice and quick.
No, seriously, it's 60. How long did 120? How long did that take? Because you only get a day, don't you, for the banquet?
Well, you don't even get that. I mean, by the time they've done the little bits of like entrance shots,
yeah, VTs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the bits where we said they're trying to stitch you up.
Yeah.
It's you actually get. I think it took me about 4 going on for 5 hours to blow all the apples.
Wow.
And then obviously you have to fit in all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why I just flitted through all the fillings.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that just popped? Yeah. And that's how fragile they are.
It's not helping under the lights, is it?
Huh? No, the lights are fine.
Oh, are they?
The thing is, it's about how hot the sugar is.
I was trying to offer you an excuse there.
I'm right, what I'm going to do. Let me bang this back in the oven for a minute. Because I can't go away from here without having a nice shiny apple in front of me. So as you can see, when talking about doing GBM, you see how fragile they are. You know, when you're doing 120 of these, and I don't know if anybody watched the show, but you saw us when we were actually trying to serve it. I kind of turned around and went, right, I'll do the apples. Everyone else do, I don't know, something else and watch. Which was kind of against the grain because we've all been working so well together. But there's kind of, when somebody's not worked with something this fragile and you know, intricate, it's, you know, first things first is you start off with ham fingers and everything starts breaking, etc., etc. So I just got stuck in, but halfway through I kind of realised that I can't just be filling all these apples on my own. So I asked Tommy to jump in and start putting the extra bit of crumble into it, which you'll see if I actually get an apple done, is the last bit that goes into it. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting, I'll get the presentation as well was half of the dish, because as you can see, I've got a lovely big apple, which is filled with a map. Which way am I looking? There you go. It's a map of the world, and obviously there's little bits picked out in gold, which is the Commonwealth, or supposed to be the Commonwealth. So they were hand painted. I got the potter who makes all our plates to make them, and they're glazed in 24 karat gold glaze. So all in all, I think 8 of them cost me about $2,500. And then I had to do 60, which was interesting. All right, let's have another go at this.
Are these apples all right in the oven, chef?
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. And do we need to do anything with these rough cut ones?
Nope. Basically, where Kerry's got to with the apples there. So we'd normally just pop them in a vac-pack bag, seal them up nice and tight, and then pop them in the water bath at the designated temperatures, and then cook them out for about an hour or hour and a half. Well, no, it wasn't an hour and a half. It was about 30 minutes, actually, because we ran out of time. It's supposed to be an hour and a half. And then we mix them all together. And we get the little compat I showed you before. Right, let's see if this one's any better. To be honest, it's all about speed, so demonstrating it, you tend to go a little bit slower so people can see exactly where you're at with it. It's more about just getting it done. Come on. Hey.
So if they do pop, you just cover the air hole, do you?
Yeah, basically, if they pop, you just start again. Get another little bit of hot sugar. Is anybody looking at me thinking this is going drastically wrong yet? I assure you it's not. I assure you it's not.
How brave you are doing this live on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
When we saw your recipe, we went, what?
Yeah, this guy's an idiot. Well, it's funny because that's the first thing that everybody else said when we got through, and obviously it was between me and Tommy as to who got the dessert. Tommy kind of said, well, I'm not really bothered because I'm really looking forward to seeing him trying to do a load of them apples. Which was, to be fair to him, a good point. It's all right coming up. I mean, but isn't that it? You know, when you're in a restaurant or you're trying to run a restaurant, especially at a high level, it's not necessarily all about coming up with an amazing dish. Sometimes it's more about coming up with something that can actually be reproduced for a large amount of people. Andrea will probably, well, I hope he'll back me up here. He sees me doing this like numerous times in the restaurant, fighting with it. And it's usually the first couple that are the most difficult ones. Woo. You're not supposed to go quiet as well. You're supposed to be talking while I desperately struggle to knock out some apples.
I'm just building anticipation.
Yeah, I can see that.
I have every confidence in this one.
Yeah, I don't.
So are these on the menu, Adam?
Yep.
Is that your job at
You
work?
wouldn't believe it, would you? These are on the menu, yeah. And basically, we do... Way! Basically, they're on the menu, yeah. And we serve them as a supplement dish. Because as you can imagine, if I actually did one for every single person in the restaurant, it would be an absolute nightmare. Let me put this back in the oven. Good job you had me on last of the day, isn't it? So, what I'm going to get across here is it's all about patience, right? Don't think I'm struggling here. I'm not, honestly. I'm just trying to get it all to the right stage. I can see the crowd getting bigger the harder it looks like I'm making this.
That's not meant to happen.
Okay. So anyway, we've got you've got your crumble, you've got your apple mix, and you've got your custard. Do you want to just grab a little tray of the little pots and we'll do some up and send them around while we're just waiting for the sugar? I'll do a little pot of the actual dish up. It's not going to have the sugar on it. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit with that. but you'll be able to taste the whole thing together, which I think is really important. Because, again, like anything, a dish can look amazing, it can look wow, it can look phenomenal, but if it doesn't taste beautiful, then you kind of, you know, you're batting down the wrong alley, or bowling down the wrong alley, should I say.
Do you guys want to fill these for Adam?
Yeah, come on. Just put a little bit of the crumble in. You carry on. It's what? No, I know. Andre's just reminding me to keep some for the apple, but that might not matter at the moment. This is the funny thing is though. This is kind of exactly how GBM was. You don't need the raw apple. Just this stuff. There you go. So carry on. A little bit of them. Just leave me some to fill it. A couple of tablespoons to fill an apple with. And the mousse, the Meadow sweet custard, because if you can see this coming out, it's little aerated mousse basically, but it's purely set with the eggs.
Who's hungry?
Me.
I could murder a sugar apple.
You're supposed to be supporting me, yeah? Alright, let's have a go at this.
Okay, so just while Adam's getting that prep, we're going to get some of the dessert so you can all have a taste. Don't forget our deal, seated people first.
It has got nuts in it as well.
Yeah. Anyone with an allergy, don't eat it, please. Anyone with an allergy that eats it, don't sue me or Adam or the show.
Yeah.
Glenn had a really good point on allergens yesterday.
What's that?
His point was, when people come to the restaurant with allergens, he asks them, "You got your pen on you?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, "No, well, surely if you've got an allergy, you should need your pen."
Yeah, yeah. If it's that bad an allergy. No, I think it is very relevant nowadays that you cater for people with allergies and stuff, because pretty much everybody in the world nowadays does have some form of an allergy or an intolerance or something like that, and you don't want people not to be able to eat out because of that. Right. While no one's paying attention, I'm just blowing it.
There we did. We did it.
Right. And then very carefully, it's just a case of cutting it off.
So samples coming round. We've got samples out there. Lots of heads down, so you must be eating. Yeah? You see what we did there? We distracted you. Adam blew a perfect sugar apple.
And
no.
And then broke it.
We spoke too soon.
Right. 7th time lucky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the restaurant and I'm going to absolutely annihilate the pastry chef, because it's quite clearly the way that she made the sugar. Quite clearly. And it's also the problem with doing something like this and becoming known for this kind of dish, because you're going to have to do it on the stage like I am now, and it's going to go badly wrong like it is now. Might actually be because the spotlights are quite hot, shining on it.
Can we move them away from that, or can we?
No, it's fine, it's fine. I'll just be quick. Oh! Right.
We were there then, chef.
We were there. This is going to go down as one of the most interesting demonstrations on this StaffCanteen live show.
You'll do it.
Right. As you can see, it is quite hot now, so I can't blame the fact that the sugar's not hot enough.
What did you say the optimum temperature was?
Well, you take it to 160, and I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure once it gets under the lights.
Yeah.
It's more about just the feel of making sure that it's pliable.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I heard somebody. Yes. That's good. Hooray!
That was me.
Come on, round of applause. Well, don't speak too soon because it'll probably explode in my hand, this. Okay, so
let's not tempt fate.
next stage, finally. The idea was I was supposed to come with a load of these done up, but then they all broke. Ironically, on the way down. So the next stage, we've got to cut the bottom out because obviously you need to get the filling in. And it's just a case, I've got a little metal ring here, and obviously a blowtorch. And you've got to get the ring really, 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 really hot. Like really hot. Normally I use a plumber's blowtorch, which is gets things exceptionally hot. Don't want to risk this not being quite so hot and it breaks my only flipping apple. Let's have a go at that. Woo! There she goes. Oh! Okay. Ooh, got the makings of an apple. Just. But obviously on an apple, you need your little stalk on the top. So we just do a little bit of pulled sugar. After all that, this is the next bit that everybody laughs, because this is where you break it when you try and fill it. So you just get the end a little bit hot. Ooh, a little bit hotter than that.
Awesome.
Here we go. Right, then last things last. Have you got some compote left?
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay, so we put a bit of the mousse in. See me shaking now because I'm scared of breaking this last apple.
You're doing fine, don't worry.
A little bit of the old crumble. We got the granita. My sticks come off. So just stick that back on.
Can you whisk that lamp away? I'll give him this. Can you whisk the heat lamps away? Can we take those heat lamps away, Chef? Is that all right?
Yeah, please.
Cool.
Unless you want me to spend another 30 minutes trying to blow another apple.
We're not letting you touch it again.
Right. There we go.
That's right, you're right. Take your time.
There we go. Okay. So you got your apple, just about. And your last little bit is frozen Granny Smith apple juice. So basically, with this, normally in the restaurant we make it with nitrogen, liquid nitrogen.
So just take that away. And your cloth's wet, so go careful.
But in this, it's basically a granita. You know, you're not doing anything special. So I brought it down frozen, and we just forked it through, like you would a traditional granita, you know. There we go. And you just fill that up around the side. It looks like a little apple sat in the orchard. And eventually, by hook or by crook, you end up with your finished article, the apple, which admittedly looks like hard work, and I can assure you it certainly is.
Ladies and gentlemen, probably the craziest chef we've ever had on Staff Canteen Live for trying to do a pulled sugar apple. Thank you all for your patience. What an amazing result. Doing that live on a stage in front of all you guys is a very, very brave move. Amazing dish. Imagine doing 60 of those at a banquet.
Yeah.
Well done.
120 actually, yeah.
Okay, so massive round of applause for Adam.
Oh, thank you.
You deserve that and more. Okay, questions. Who's got a question for Adam? I'm going to come down into the audience. We're going to stick a microphone in front of you. Ask a question. If you want to ask a question, you get a mug. You've had a mug. You can ask a question. Have you got a question? No, you just did it for a mug. If I go on eBay and there's about 12 mugs on eBay. Yes, sir. Okay, 2 seconds. If you can just introduce yourself to Adam and then ask the question.
Oh yeah, I'm Adam.
Hello, Adam.
How many of them actually broke when you did it on Great British Menu?
Well, you're going to think I'm lying here, actually, because of that little experience. But basically, I only seem to remember about 4 or 5 of them actually breaking in my hand.
Yeah.
But it was that much of a, it was a proper service. You're trying to bang these things out. So it must have been a few more. And it must have been, to be honest, because out of the 120, when I counted back, I could only actually find about 3 or 4 left in a tray. So we were probably like about that far away from just completely going down. As you can see, it's not an easy thing to do.
How
There's pastry chefs everywhere thinking that
exactly.
he made that into a right hash.
How many would you get out of a batch?
Out of a...
Like one little batch you did today.
That amount of sugar there,
Yeah.
I'd probably get about 10 apples out of that.
Okay.
So you're talking a lot of apple and a lot of sugar and a lot of gold to try and get, your 120. But that's why, like I say, it took probably 4.5, 5 hours to just literally blow
you did
them
that
up.
all yourself?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, part of GBM, I know there's some guys around who may have done it before, but part of it is that you do it all yourself. You have a little sous chef or commie, whatever they call them.
But the main element, you did it.
Yeah, mainly they only weigh up for you, so you're basically like doing everything yourself, and they do cut you back as much as they can on the old prep time and service time.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Adam? Anyone else? Yes, sir. And again, if you can introduce yourself and then ask Adam the question.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm a catering student at Weymouth College with the Higgs Academy. So I think what I'd like to know is just like, what was your thinking process behind it? Because I mean, just like what I just saw, I mean, I thought that was inspired. So how did you come up with it? Like, what's sort of your process or your light bulb moments?
Well, you get the brief, obviously from the show to say, this is what you've got to design a menu and a dish around, or dishes around. And I just looked into that brief and thought, well, what can I make my dishes into? And I came up with the base idea of things that people would relate to. Apple crumble was perfect. Everybody knows what apple crumble is, typically British. But then how do you elevate it? Because that's the point of it. It's about elevating it. And obviously, this isn't a brand new technique. Lots of people have done it before. But just using it to fit that brief, same as any other cooking technique, just elevate it to that next level. And colouring it gold kind of fitted the specification perfectly.
That's a great question. Thank you. One more question. Okay. You've got enough mugs as well. Okay, so if you'd introduce yourself and then ask a question.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm just wondering, before the Great British Menu, did you have any experience with blown up sugar or any sort of work?
Yeah. I've done lots of pastry work in my career up to now. Not massively sugar orientated for service, but it's like at the French we were doing kind of like a little birthday cake we gave out free to people who said it was a birthday, and we blew like a sugar balloon with all like strings on it and things, and sat that on top of a cake to serve it with. So I've done it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It was just making it fit that time scale.
That's brilliant.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Yes, sir. Okay. introduce yourself and then ask Adam the question.
I'm Stephen. Have you ever done any big sugar pieces, like display pieces?
No, they've just been doing the pastry World Cup, haven't they? No, I've never done a full-on piece. You know, I've made fruit and bits and bobs like that. But like I say, I'm not a pastry chef.
Yeah.
I just steal a few techniques every now and again.
Okay, right. Oh, what was that? I thought it was a bit of sugar, but it's a spoon. Sorry.
It's probably one of my apples
Okay.
breaking again.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to all the chefs today. So first up today we had Bev, then we had Nick, then we had obviously Akhtar. Thank you to all of the students from UCB College. Thank you to the team at the StaffCanteen, Solent Creative, all of the sponsors. One last time, massive round of applause for a very, very brave Adam Reid from the French.
Thank you.
You deserve that.
Thank
Well
you
done.
to these lot for being so patient.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to whisk you away over there, chef. We're going to ask you why on earth you decided to do a sugar dish on a live stage. Can you sign that for me, mate? We need to get a photo of you and the students together, please, chef. That student there, look. Thank you very much. Guys, if you want to hang around with that after we finish with him,